We are live, doing camera check on live.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Invisible Walls, podcast all about breakthrough. Are we good? Is it this light or is it that camera's a little dark?
It's a little bit of both.
We're gonna fix. Okay, really quick. So you see that scroll wheel by where you click the button to take the picture? If you just scroll that, it will change the. I'll do it.
We are professional.
Yeah, we can.
As far as handles go.
So, put your finger where you would take a picture. There's a scroll wheel right in front of it. Nope, up towards me, right there. That wheel. Left or right will change the. There you go. All right, we're good. All right, guys, welcome back to Invisible Walls, a podcast all about breakthrough. My name is Larry Charles. I've got Brandon Pham here with me behind the camera, who's doing some technical problem solving to make sure that our camera systems are all set, and we're going to jump into today's topic. But the reason why we're on Larry Cam right now is I've requested that we kind of do an episode inspired by myself and my life events, and since this podcast is about breakthrough, I wanted to pull out, I guess, the positives that I could to try to share with the audience to make sure that I can save lives and relationships in the future, because that's a good thing, especially if you want those relationships, right? So Brandon Pham, he's the married man here, so he's the guy who knows how to do it right, apparently.
I'll give you advice. It's not doing it right. It's more like being able to take hits.
To take hits? No, that's what I do, man. I can endure. That's probably my biggest problem, I would say, is like I've always been the guy who's like, just put it on my shoulders.
Yeah. But I don't want to paint you that picture, right? It's always 50-50.
Yeah.
At least I'll speak from my own personal relationship. I guess today's is about relationship. Yeah. So I've been married for over almost 12 years now, right? 11 years, 12 years. I'm like 1 month away from where Ray is, not to kind of raise our other guests.
Happy anniversary, Ray and Stephanie, by the way.
Yes.
We love you guys.
So I know like a group of us that got married around the same time and surprisingly still together with their spouse, right? So we're talking about 11 years in, which is already a rare thing, right?
Especially this day and age.
Yes, but having two other guys that share a similar anniversary time as me is something that I need to think about and appreciate more with those guys. People always ask me like, what's working, right? Because it is around the same time that friends of mine that got married around the same time are getting a divorce or being separated.
Sure.
And it is a tough thing to go through because figuring yourself out is a lot of work, right? This is a show about making breakthroughs. Yeah. And every aspect of your life, you're constantly trying to build up, sustain, and succeed. Yeah. To do that with another person, you would think it would be sharing the load. But in reality, you're adding on to the load. At least because you're trying to manage both people's lives, but at the same time integrate it so that it makes sense and feels fair. Yeah. Because I find in relationship that as soon as one person is succeeding and the other person isn't in their own aspect, it doesn't have to be career, but just their own personal relationship or whatever, that's where the couple breaks apart and we're no longer supporting each other, but just trying to live two separate lives and tolerating. And you're basically becoming roommates. And that's where that's where the reality is.
In all fairness, I would say, at least on my half, because I'm not going to disrespect my previous partner by giving out very personal details or dragging. Like, I'm not going to do that. And then I don't deserve to be able to do that for this person anyway, because I actually never complained about the person other than like, well, I guess the fair way to say it is, I don't believe I had a bad person.
Yes.
I had not the right person for myself.
Right.
And then her as well. She had not the right person for herself. I guess the death blow from me and my previous relationship is I said, I feel like we're friends who are supposed to kiss each other.
Oh.
No, I'm dead serious. That's not meant to be an insult.
No. But I never heard it explained in that way. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's how
it's very similar to what I would go up and down with. It's like, as a married couple, you don't want to be just roommates at a certain point, because that also is very telling of where your relationship is. It's like you're not spending enough time with each other, right? Where you just feel like you're living together. Yeah. All right, please explain.
So I guess I wanted to like go into the breakthrough stuff, but like I have to put myself on full exposure here because in order for me to be able to relate with the audience and for the people to understand, I have to like just share what I can share.
Yeah.
Because again, and this is in all the NDA or whatever private stuff. I'm not going to share private stuff.
It's just Larry.
I'm not going to bring somebody down. Yeah. I will observe from my perspective and do my best to observe from her perspective, but find the nugget that like, don't do this shit because it'll fuck you up.
Yeah,
you know
what
I mean?
Yeah.
And then put that out there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was in a relationship where we were together about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Right now.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The good part about it was like the first half was like really amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think that we both like, in all fairness, I pursued for a long time because the individual did not want me to be the boyfriend. Not so much that I wasn't quality enough, but like she didn't want to waste her time. She wanted to be sure. And like I just kept on. Not creepy persistence, but like romantic persistence. Like you're not gonna lose me. I'm gonna keep on. And I did.
So what was the main difference between dating and boyfriend then? Was there like a difference in meeting or like what exactly was it? Just the title and commitment or what exactly does it mean?
For me, I have no problem when I'm like pursuing.
Yeah.
I feel like I have no problem seeing somebody as the most beautiful person. But usually what happens there is like we haven't dealt with each other's bullshit yet. Right. So like we're in like the
very nice,
man, it's
niceness,
especially if you haven't connected yet. We're like we didn't live together yet at the time, or we didn't have like the whole thing. Mm-hmm. We just had a deep amount of surface relationship. We didn't actually have we're boyfriend and girlfriend. So now let's build the rest of this. The intent was there, full intent to build the rest of it. I think the problems that basically I dealt with and that my partner dealt with was like, okay, I came to the table with stress, anxiety, and emotional issues during when I was working at Section, working GSO stuff, and then also that falls apart. At work, I'm doing 16 hours because I'm doing the 8 hours there, plus the secret project, plus then trying to do business from her house, and then like, okay, that's all done. I can be your boyfriend now. I see. There was some really bad times for me personally that she went through, right? That she was being supportive. She was trying to do her best to maintain as a partner who felt neglected because here comes Saturday and now I'm like, hey, I actually have to work Saturday too. Or like, hey, I can only hang out for a certain amount on Sunday because we were only really, really seeing each other Saturday and Sunday. Monday through Friday, I was always maybe a FaceTime. Yeah. You know what I mean? So she dealt with a lot of that.
That was the first year and a half.
That was getting towards the beginning of year 2.
I see.
So we're past the year and a half.
I see.
So that was like year 2, year 3, that period where it was like
it's a tough period. Yeah.
The downhill fall. I will say this: for me, my problems were on the selfish end, but I still feel justified in saying that like I had taxes and burdens that were heavy on my shoulders. Yeah. That I would swallow, or just like. I guess for me, I'm very 50-50. Like, if we do a restaurant for you, then I want to do a restaurant for me. Or if we watch a show for you, then I want to watch a show for me. And I'd be happy if we both wanted the same show, because then it's like, that's cheating. Like, we always get what we want. But that's not the case, you know? So that is like a light thing. But, like, I would swallow those. Or, like, just the way that, like, I would be like, hey, I need a break right now. I need to not do anything. I need to just chill out. Don't do X, don't do Y. And then to immediately have someone be like, okay, but you don't, and it's just like, I've set a boundary. Please respect that. And it doesn't get respected. So then I just swallow that. And I either try to endure more or I would blow up.
You have to blow up, right?
But I was that type where like,
everyone blows up if they hold it in at a certain point, right? Even I blow up.
But I think it's unfair, but it's also, that's why I say it's unfair, but it's fair. Because when I blew up and like I was like, motherfucking goddamn.
Yeah. It's a lot.
That's not fair for that person.
Right, because
doesn't see what. Yeah.
Right, because the thing you finally blow up on might be minuscule to all the burden that you were carrying. I will ask you this though: do you feel like it's very important during, I think, a year and a half and 2 year time? to kind of face those problems as a couple, to see how each other handles it, to kind of as a proving ground of like, can this thing really?
1,000%.
So you don't regret like all those little things happening during the time.
I regret not being more of an adult about my temper in the sense that my boundaries were ignored.
Right.
Because the defense mechanism that I have at the time, because I've put a lot of thought, even in just these past few days, because this is recent, man.
Yeah.
But when I would set a boundary and say like, don't do this.
Yeah.
And it gets ignored, that's like a disrespect.
Yeah.
It feels like that. It feels like you don't care about me enough that you wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
And it hurts. But then I would be like, okay, I get it, but like, please don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then something else. And it's like,
you're piling
after 5, 6, 7 of these, I would just be like,
it's a lot. Yeah.
That's when the toxic release came. I call it toxic release. And I would, so like, I threw a chair. This is
what?
This is no bullshit.
These are my chairs, by the way.
I had this moment where like I had set all my boundaries. And I was like, please just give me 10 minutes. Just stop, please.
Yeah.
I grabbed a chair that had a leather jacket on it and I threw it down the hallway, right? All that went down the hallway was the leather jacket because the jacket had created like a slip. So like and the chair went up and it bounced and then it hit the girl.
Whoa.
But the jacket went down the hallway. This is a true story.
Yeah.
And so then now I'm like, oh my God, I feel like shit. And like and she's like crying and like all kind of stuff. And she's like, why would you hit me with a chair? And I was like, I didn't throw a chair. No, I'm serious. Like I was like, I didn't throw a chair at you. I was like, I admit I threw the chair and I shouldn't have thrown the chair.
Yeah.
I was throwing it down the hallway. Look at the whole angle, like my whole animation, everything was you're safe. You know what I mean? Like all the anger left because I was like, oh shit. I knew what just happened. But I also knew that like when the chair bounced.
You in trouble?
I'm not laughing because this is fucked up, man.
Yeah.
The chair bounced first and it didn't like smash into her. It was like a boom, bing, bing.
It was enough for her to use.
On paper, you could literally say, I threw the chair that hit her.
And then,
right? If you ask, show me a bruise, show me a scratch, show me a scrape, show me even a mark in the chair or anything that caused any damage that doesn't exist. But she could literally say, he threw a chair.
She can say that. Yeah.
And so, like, I obviously had to swallow that. But it's my fault because I shouldn't get to that point.
Yes.
But my defense mechanism, I thought, was, don't do this. Okay, for real, don't do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen,
habitual
I get it, but don't
line stepper, right?
Habitual line stepper. Yeah. So this isn't.
So what would you say, learning from how you can't endure, right? I'm not saying you can't endure. Most people can't just hold it in and then let go, right? Because forgiving is a whole different factor. What are measures that you have in place now that, like, hey, if you do this, then so and so won't happen anymore or whatever, right? Do you have those conditions now that are different from before, knowing that after 5 habitual line stepping, I go rage, right?
The thing for me was I always believed that the thing that I was being, I don't want to say disrespected in this sense, but like I could always put myself in their shoes and say, I don't like the outcome, but I can see why their mindset allowed them to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I know she cared about me, and the boundary I was creating was one that was putting distance between us. Like, hey, I'm dealing with something that I just need to process.
Need to think,
let me alone. To that person was like, hey, I don't want you in this with me. And obviously, this person loves you very much. She's like,
let me figure this out with you. Yeah,
I'm gonna jump that. I'm gonna. So like, I could always see that. So that's why the endurance for me was never like, I never took it as like such a big thing that like I was gonna walk out right immediately.
Right.
But each thing did add up, and like each thing was like, fuck, man, fuck. Like, God, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's that. So I still feel very sorry, obviously, about.
But that's part of like understanding as a couple, like, hey, this is he's in the red.
Yeah.
When he's in the red, you need that space because it takes a while for you to trust someone else to shoulder the issues that you're dealing with on a personal level, right? It was like, all right, I'll invite you in, help me through this, right? There's just like a certain level of girlfriendness, right, that has to be achieved before you allow that happen, and that person needs to understand the boundaries right there. So I wouldn't even say, just listening through this, that you should automatically accept help, especially when you're going through something, right, that you need to process. That needs to be earned. And I think laying that out as you do, just more concretely saying like, hey, this is something I need to process.
Yeah.
I respect that you're trying to help me, but this is just something I have to do.
Yeah.
Please respect that. And if they can't understand that, it is one of those situations like, can I be with this person that continuously like rages me, right?
So again,
or don't understand the dynamics.
To chime in, this will not be me airing out how I feel about everything that happened to me, and not acknowledging that like
this is a general thing, because you would have to say this is a repeatable offense.
I do need to say this. It was definitely something that I dealt with in continuance, but then like there was also things that this person dealt with in continuance.
Yeah.
So what I want to say at this moment was, I eventually came to the conclusion that like our ups and downs, everything that we had gone through, I felt like we were just gonna have an okay life, right? Like I felt like
you were gonna accept.
I felt like I could endure, she could endure, and we would be okay.
Yeah.
Because I always knew that like when she did something that bothered me, at least I knew she was trying because she was trying.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, whether it fit in my life or not, or it helped me or not, is a completely different story.
I see.
Even when I went to the hospital, she did something that I really wish that she didn't. Right. Right. And when we talked about that, she said that was what she thought she needed to do. Right. And what I needed was like literally the exact opposite of what happened. Right. And that moment led to like the first like significant breakup that we had, where like, even after that I was like, no, for life I don't want to talk to you. Right. I even dated another girl at that time. Right. Like I had moved completely. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I look at things and I said like, we are just gonna have an okay life, because we reconciled and we tried it again. But I think the long short of it, man, is like I looked at it, I took inventory, and I was like, I don't think I'm really that good for you. Yeah. I know that I've done things that have hurt you. Mm-hmm. I know that, like, regardless of how you feel about it, like, I literally made a decision that I knew probably would have made you upset, even if I told you that it was for our benefit. And the example here is actually, I dated a girl before Jenny. Oh, shit.
Bleep.
Yeah.
We'll bleep it.
Well, we're live. I dated a girl before her. Yeah. Who obviously knew me very well, who broke up with me, and who had cited, like, whatever her reasons were at the time. So on a trip to San Francisco, I was in contact with this person, and we never really had like a closure talk. I actually got broken up with at a funeral. No. Right? Like, or at a, what? It wasn't a funeral. It was a remembrance of life, celebration of life kind of thing. The funeral had already happened. All right. But this was the a memorial. Exactly. This is the memorial part. And I'm like spent the whole day like, this is my girlfriend, and we're like talking to all these family members, like, oh, who are you? Like, oh, I'm this person's boyfriend, and we're dancing, and like I'm thinking everything is great, like so happy to see her, and then like when it's time to go, so hey, okay, so I think I need to do some stuff, and I was just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like it was such a kick in the nuts. Yeah. But people have the right to make their decision. Like I never got mad. I was like, if you're deciding, I don't care what excuse you have. Yeah. If you're telling me that you don't want me in your life, then that's really all I need to know. Right. So I obviously left that situation, but there was an opportunity for us to get closure on that, because obviously I was still carrying a lot of grief. Mm-hmm. And intrigued, because this was someone that I liked, that I never stopped liking. Right. In the sense that like I didn't leave because I didn't like her, not so much that I liked her still. Right. So I went to meet up for coffee and like to talk, and then I got some closure, but then I also got some perspective, because I told her about what I was going through currently. Like, man, I don't know how to reach, I don't know how to do this, and I don't know why she would feel X, Y, and Z ways. Mm-hmm. You're someone that knows me intimately. Mm-hmm. Can you offer some perspective? And so, but my mistake there was I never told that my date or my girlfriend that I was doing that, right? Like I knew that she was gonna have a fit. I knew it. No, listen, this is all out there, man. I fucked up on that one, because I knew she was gonna have a fit. Yeah. But in my heart, my intent wasn't like, oh, I want to go restart something. Yeah. I want to go be with this person. Yeah. And I was even flirty. Yeah. Right? Like, oh, haha, like, hey, I'm serious. I'm telling the whole truth, man. Yeah. I shouldn't have done all that part of it, but I still found value in being able to have that face-to-face conversation and be like, yo, why did you do me like that? Just tell me what happened. Like, tell me, is there anything that could help me? Yeah. But then also, like, you know me very well, and I'm struggling with what I have right now. Yeah. What can I do? Yeah. Right? So, like, that was that exposed there. So, obviously, my partner knows at this point. She had found out, I forget how, probably, I think she had gone through my phone and, like, read messages or something. And so she knew that, like, we had met up, and I even told her that we didn't. Yeah. So I lied to her about that. But again, my goal was I didn't want to hurt her. Right. But I did want what I knew I was going to get in that conversation. Like that was important to me.
Right.
That should have happened prior to me having a new person, but it didn't, you know? So I own that. That was something that I have to take. So the nugget there is going to lead to the nugget that I want to share at the end of all of this.
Right.
So let's fast forward till, I guess, more recently, the last maybe like year.
Yeah.
Our intimacy was all-time low. I'm talking like we had like a 6 months nothing, then maybe one time, then like an 8 months nothing, or the opposite, maybe an 8 months nothing, then one time, then like a 6 month of nothing.
Is that like a choice on both sides to try something new, or it was just like it wasn't there to initiate?
This is getting into a detail that's probably a little too private to share. But what I will say is that like I knew that I was having issues where I didn't have a connection,
right,
and I didn't have
the trust in there.
No, it's not even the trust. It's that like, so I've gotten called out many times, like, how come you don't even like buy me flowers? How come you don't even like do this or do that?
The caring.
And
part.
she was like, you'll do it after I say it,
right,
for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
That's most men, yeah.
But then you stop all over again, right? And like, the problem for me was like everything was coming to an end, like that everything was coming down. Like my natural, like, I'm very caring and very romantic and very, well, I believe I am.
Yeah.
Like if you tell me something, I'll start trying to draw dots and be like, I'm going to do this for that person because I know it will make them feel better. But like we had gone through so much and I had done so much and she had done so much where like, this was where I'm saying like, I feel like this is my friend I'm supposed to kiss. Yeah. Because it was getting to that point where like, she was exactly right. Like, she was like, you don't buy me flowers anymore. And I'm like, oh shit, I need to go buy her flowers now.
Because
right? Like
chore.
I was checking the box, man.
Right.
I didn't have that just, I'm so in love. I just want to go and.
No, let me save you with this one.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I've been married for a long time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of flowers if I consistently keep it up. Yeah. I even joke about like there will be a business killing if there are men on one side.
Subscriptions.
Not even that, man. To the next level. These are the holidays within the year. You put on a reminder in yourself, and then these are like the retainer fee that just constantly gets thrown out there, right? Essentially, a woman just wants to feel like they're being thought about and cared about, right? Yeah. Essentially, this is polarizing, but on my side, it's like, hey, man, it's my anniversary too. Yeah. Where are my things? Yeah. And yes. This is a part where a man has to be a gentleman and take more of that responsibility because that's traditional, that's old school. And I do agree that is where one person of the partnership has to do more, right? It's never going to be an instance where it's completely 50-50. I don't expect it that way. But it is a joke that I constantly go back to because it is true. You know, whoever initiates it gets the return, right? And if both person don't feel that way, then nothing happens, right? And it's equally as deadly, right? When nothing happens, it's more deadly on the guys, I think.
Well, of course, because I mean, I'm very traditional in the sense that like I do see myself as protector provider. I do see myself as like I'm not toxic masculine where like if I'm on my back and she's marching forward that I'm like, oh. Like I'm throwing a fit, or like she makes more money than me, so I can't be with her. Like that. I'm not that. But even if you did make more money than me, I'm paying for dinner. You know, even if you did make more money than me, I'm buying the hotel. Even if you did make more money than me, I'm getting you the better birthday gift. And it's I don't want to say it's a sick thing, but it's just I'm that way. Like I'm wired that way because I always want to make sure that they're going to be taken care of. Right. And I wasn't taking care of her. I don't want to say inspired, but I wasn't nasty about it. I didn't hate.
Yeah, but I also want to ask, like, you didn't have the drive, right? And that's, I feel, where it needs to be 50-50, right? Is there a reason why? Why I'm not feeling the need to want to give you flowers, right? It's because the girl shouldn't accept having flowers just because it's a chore, right? Yeah. They're asking the crux of the problem is like, why are you not thinking about me when we're not together? Well, let's talk about that. Yeah. Yada, 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 yada. Here's a list. Yeah. And that, I think, yes, partially is motivated by, having a poor relationship. But a lot of it has to do with, I don't feel that way. Yeah. And I think a lot of people stay in a relationship too long. Yeah. Too long. Yeah. I think way past the fact where it starts to really deteriorate.
I'm probably guilty of that.
The person.
Man. I don't want to say probably. I am. she deserved a better 3 years. I'm proud of maybe the first 2.
Right.
Proud of it.
Right.
Proud. The last year and a half, let's say 5 months of like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then a year of like, oh shit,
just
man,
lost time,
this
right?
ain't it, man.
Yeah. But also, I gotta aid you on this too, right? You lost that time too yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And you need to appreciate your time as well. So it's not completely a loss to her, but it's a loss to you.
It's a loss to us both.
Right.
But I definitely am going to be the villain in this story.
Sure.
Because obviously, more friends there. I'm the one that decided that I wanted to leave and like did leave and then try to find somebody new.
Yeah.
While she, in her mind and heart, like gave her all the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Of course.
I guess the hard part for me is like, it shouldn't be a crime to decide that you want to move on.
No, I think.
But like honestly, I don't feel like I'm a victim or like I'm in a crime. But I'm just saying that like at any time she could have left.
Yeah.
Right. But she fought hard.
Yeah.
And I acknowledged it, and I never hated her. I never said anything bad. But I do know that like there were some incongruencies that really messed things up or made things very difficult.
Right.
Continue to push us away from each other. You know what I mean? And so, it's tough because again, putting myself in her shoes, I know where she came from.
Yeah.
I know why she was trying the way that she was.
And this is for me knowing you as a friend for a long time, right? You always try to look at both sides, and I think to a fault. I think at the very end, it's like you got to look at just from your side. And reason from just your side. It's like, hey, I'm not enjoying this. Why is it exactly? Because of this. Are we gonna fix this? Then no. Where I feel like a lot of your faults come in, it's like you look at both sides and you try to answer your
like my needs.
Your needs and the reason why things are falling short by trying to fit in other people's needs. And putting them before you, right? Okay. And that's where it becomes very imbalanced and unhappy. And then, you carry on that burden until you do blow up, and then it's all suddenly out in the open again. So I think a lot of this just has to do with how do you balance with friendships, right? If you look at friendships the same way, do you guys ever have the same issues with other friends and stuff?
She and I?
No.
Or just me personally?
Just you personally, on a friendship level, not just with women.
No,
but
I do friends. I do know about myself that like, for some reason, I hurt bad when I know that I'm hurting somebody else.
I see.
Right, and like
empathetic.
I that is a truth. Like regardless of decisions people think that I've made, I promise you, I go to war with myself for months.
Yeah.
Before I get to a point where I'm like,
Yeah.
Because like. I feel like, man, this is really going to hurt this person if I do this thing.
Right.
This is really going to hurt this person if like, and I'm talking even on a friendship level, like I will endure because I believe that like I'm strong. I believe that I have faith that I will make a good decision or I will do, I can, so like this may be a taxing relationship or something may happen in this friendship even where like I don't agree or don't want to do it, but I will because I feel like it's a better investment to maintain that friendship and just get through the thing that I'm pissed off about.
Yeah.
And that decision even ties into the relationship because I was doing the same thing there.
Right.
I feel like this person is good. I feel like in their shoes, I can see why they do X, Y, and Z. So therefore, it will probably be better for me to just grin and bear it than to lose this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or to, I guess, stand on my feet and be like, yo, fuck this.
Yeah.
Because also, I will say this: I actually had gotten to a point where I was like kind of trained into that sense because of all the times where I've been like don't stop, I don't want this, stop, don't, I can't, and so the opposite effect was just like, well, don't even, that saying anything, what is that going to do? What is that done?
Right, so you kind of give up, and
so this all lands back to me on my shoulders, man. Like, enduring was never the right way. A relationship shouldn't be about endurance.
No, it should be a celebration.
You shouldn't be enduring your relationship.
Yeah.
For both parties. This is me speaking to my partner and myself.
Right.
You should not be enduring your relationship.
Yeah.
You should be enjoying it.
Yep.
When it gets hard, endure that thing. Right. But hopefully that's an external thing that you two together are fighting against.
Yeah, exactly.
And not fighting each other for the right and the privilege to be fighting each other.
Right. The brilliance of that show where you travel around the world as a partner. What's that show again? Where it's that show that you do challenges around the world.
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race is the principle of every relationship. People who are married for a long time, I look at that show and look at my wife. It's like, there's no way we can finish this together. We're gonna quit because the level of concentration and partnership is on a different level. That is like what do you call it? What do you call it when it's like a natural match? Long loss. You know when two couples are made.
Match made in heaven.
Match made in heaven, but there's a term for that where it's like a
love at first sight.
It has to do with on a spiritual level. Soulmates. I don't even know the words.
Bro, I'm the faith guy.
Yeah. Soulmates, right? I feel like that is on another level, right? To go through pretty much all the physical torment and mental possibilities of pushing the human body, right? That is a test that most relationships don't go through. Even long-lasting ones, such as mine, right? There are things that we haven't tested our relationship against that I can't say 100% we've done it or can do it, right? We haven't done it, right? I don't put it past me until I can say I've done it and we've done it together, right? So in a relationship that you're talking about enduring and just facing challenges together, yeah, I mean, those I think are signals along the way where it just tells you this person reacts a certain way. Maybe I shouldn't. That's something to keep note of, right? Yeah. And I think that is past just a loving relationship, but as a friendship too. I admire this about you, where you're able to keep relationship, even when someone wrongs you, like because in our past, you know how I am. I'm like, I'm freaking cut loose. It's like I can't. I'm right in the assembly line cutting the sausages. It's like right here. Yeah. This is it. We're not hanging out anymore, right? And that again, it has its own fault because I say goodbye to relationship too soon, in my own way, before I figure out the fruition of and the benefit of it, right?
I mean,
but I also like to think too, like on your side, by keeping those relationships, even if there's like a lot of red flags happening, that you do carry on a lot of unnecessary stress that just continuously tax you, right? Because a problem to me is like a problem now is a problem later, right? Someone does this means that's his or her way of doing things, and so I'm just waiting for another time where they just stress into my life again. And I just the number one hate in my life is just stress. I hate things, especially stress that I cannot control. Like this person just goes berserk on me. I'm supposed to deal with your problems. It's like I got my own problems, dude. I got 2 kids and a wife that wants flowers, right? So I got things that I got to take care of. So I don't know. Like, do you see that ever really changing on your side, where you're evaluating, like, all right, just
cut or run, kind of like
cut or run, or like, you know, it's very situational, as we were talking about in our last podcast. Is this something that is going to continuously pop up in my life? If so, is it worth it, right?
So
and
that's
really what it means.
Like, I completely understand exactly why you would say what you would say about me, because you've seen my life for the past 15 years. You are exactly right, where even if somebody has wronged me, even heinous or not, there is like an anger period, or like, oh man, fucking
because we share the same thing. My number one pet peeve. I was telling you last week, if it's my son or my dog, you disrespect me. You disrespect me.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
It is. I go red, dude. I go red.
Disrespect is such a tough.
I don't know what it is, like because we grew up similar with sports or something, but like, we value relationships so much that we put so much into it that if you don't see it in return, it's like,
there's levels to the disrespect forgiveness, even in me. Level one is like, you don't know me and you didn't know that you did a thing.
Oh yeah,
so I'll let you know that you did a thing.
Yeah, you get one chance.
And then if you go further, I don't
habitual.
Yeah, exactly, right. But the opposite is the one that, but I don't carry that forward. Like, this person is random, didn't know me.
No.
I told them don't cross this, and they did. They didn't know the punishments.
Sure.
But I also don't care because I'm not going to bring them forward in my life. Yeah. I can write that off and be like, I'm not going to deal with that individual.
Right.
The harder one is someone who you believe cares very much about you.
Yeah.
Who you're in like a relationship with, where you'll be like, hey, bam, boundary.
Yeah.
Fuck that boundary.
Yeah.
Like, dude, don't do this. I don't care enough about you to respect you, so I'm going to do it. Or I believe that what I want is more important than you having this boundary, so therefore I'm going to go for that.
Yeah.
And so that's my, like, I can at least understand, like I say, I put myself in their shoes. That's why I don't hate.
Yeah.
I don't ever, like, I won't, somebody wronged me, and we have people who have wronged us both at the same time or whatever. Yeah. If I carry a grudge, it's more like, man, that really sucks what you did.
I react very differently.
If that person was in a burning building, any person who was ever to the extreme has ever done me wrong, if they were in a burning building and I had to risk my life to save them, but I was able-bodied, I'd be like, God, please don't let me die. And like, I go in there, pull them out, because hopefully you got to be. Well, I'm that way, man. It's
no. I understand. Of course, if I can, I will.
Yeah.
If
I can conveniently,
if somehow I have this like fireproof vest, right, fully protected,
there's no risk.
Yeah, I'm not gonna risk my own family for strangers that wrong me, right?
I agree.
All right, I think you wouldn't either, right? If it was between your life taking care of your family or this person that has wronged you in the past.
Here's the thing.
You would.
I've made that mistake.
Okay.
I've made that mistake. And so my perspective, again, a lot of growth is happening currently because I'm going through some shit.
Yeah.
And I don't want that anymore. But there was a story where I was on a date in San Diego with my significant other. This was like one of our first big dates. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like extra, like, you know.
Yeah, extra.
So we're walking through, and like it's like a Marine base. There's a lot of Marines down there, so there's usually like there's some conflict in the streets, especially with alcohol in the Gaslamp district.
Oh yeah, I know this story.
So we're walking through, and I see. Now my girlfriend had a traumatic experience involving violence.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been told this yet. This was the story that led to her telling me about her violence and why she reacted the way that she did. Yeah. But I see this dude and this other guy, like, you know, chesting, yeah, fuck you, San Bernardino, bitch. Blah, 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 blah. Like, fuck San Bernardino. Blah, 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 blah. And they're like just, you know, doing all this and all that. Yeah. And so as we're walking closer to it, I saw the aggressor, who I kind of identified as the aggressor. Yeah. He like did this like chest push shove, like it was quick. It was like boom. And the guy, like, I saw the bottoms of his wrists. This was the indicator for me. I saw the bottoms of his wrists as he fell. Yeah. And I was like, he's in trouble. I was like, he's gonna die. I saw the way that he pushed, and I saw the way that he absorbed it. He's in trouble.
Yeah.
So I was like, stay here.
Yeah.
So I left her by herself on the street corner. I went probably 45, 50 feet away, and I stood in between the guys. Yeah. And I was like, hey, man, look, you already won. Look, he's down there. Like, it's cool, man. You guys don't want to go to jail tonight. The cops actually are right there. Yeah. I just pointed like to the street light. Yeah. But no, when I diffused it. Yeah. I was safe. I was a bouncer before. Yeah. I have martial arts training. Right. I'm 6'5" at the time, 287 pounds probably. Right. I was confident that even if it went wrong, I was the best person to have it go wrong with, because I could still potentially save it. Right. I risked myself, my life. Could have got stabbed. I could have gotten into a fight. Something could have happened to her. Yeah. But I already had it in my head that, like, no, I can stop this. Yeah. So I went over there and I was like, no, don't stop. And like the guy, like, yeah, you're right, man. You're right. He gave me 5. Yeah. His friend tried to be tough. Who told you to stop anything? And I told the friend, I was like, all right, go to jail if you want to, or some shit like that. But like, I knew he even wasn't going to fight, because if he wanted to fight, he would have just fought.
He would have done it, yeah.
He just wanted to try to, like,
he's like,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So
who told you?
They were all smaller. They were all smaller. But I used my benefit as a privilege, or my privilege, to, like, the guy who fell. All that happened to him was he fell in front of his girlfriend, but they walked away. Oh, the guy who would have probably beat the shit out of that guy got to go hang out with his buddies and drink a beer that night. Right. I went home with my girlfriend
all pissed
and had a fight. Yeah. And heard her story of, like, why she wouldn't have wanted me to do that. Which I obviously know now. Yeah. But at that time, I'm that guy who was like, no, I can see that I can do something about this. I'm going to. Yeah. I guess now I feel like
Do you feel differently?
I don't want to sacrifice myself. I definitely don't want to sacrifice what's important to me.
That's good.
But I do know that my natural instinct is if something good can be done about it, you should do it.
Right.
Like, try. Call the police maybe. So
if I was there, this is how it would break down. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, babe, hold on. Popcorn.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I got it on my cell phone.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Seriously, if I was approaching an issue like that, I would just be out of the situation, call and assess, right?
Yeah.
Does he have a knife?
Yeah, that's...
Does he not have a knife? Like, I would try to see how bad can it go, right?
That was the gamble, man.
That was a lot of a gamble, right? I think, honestly, hopefully you don't jump into things like that because you never know what the person...
Have.
I know, your natural instinct is to go into that situation ready to defuse. I totally understand. But
I got bullied as a kid. I know what it's like, right? Like to be the kid with the wrists in the air.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen someone fall like that, right? Like, but I knew as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh shit, it's over for him.
This is what you do, man. You get really good with your pitching, which I know you are at
throw
baseball.
something.
And throw some rocks, bro. Stop it. Stop hitting him.
Oh, my pitching is... Anyway.
That's what I mean, though. Like, there's so many ways to do it at a safe distance.
I should have...
But your girl is the priority.
Yes,
That's a situation where I feel
1000%.
like if you were to talk about saving, it's like, all right, let's make sure
we weren't
my
in a
people are
situation.
safe.
We weren't in a situation. In my mind, I thought she was safe because she was at a distance.
Yeah.
I knew that I had left her where there were no people.
Yeah.
And then I went to defuse the situation. Could have called the police and went about my business. That kid probably would have gotten hurt, got some stitches or something, but the police would have done what the police should have done.
Yeah.
There were better ways, but I went with the most effective that I could think of.
Right.
And it ended up working out. So, to grace of God there, thank you.
Right.
But I don't know. I do want to get to the how it ended because this is the story of all stories. This is the catastrophic. Yeah. This is the fuck.
Before you go there,
okay, go ahead.
I always say to that kid that got pushed and shoved, let the boy learn. If you look the way you do, don't go against people that look the way they do, right?
Yeah.
You idiot.
Yeah.
Right? All right, keep going.
I'm telling you, man. It was I wouldn't have done anything. It was a fair fight.
If I grew up falling like this.
No one jumped in. It wasn't, nobody stomped
that boy should have known.
None of that. But it was as soon as I saw...
Yeah. Oh, he knows how he falls.
I was like, oh, shit.
He knows that's how he always falls. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Idiots like that who watch some UFC fights and just don't know their place, dude.
No,
it's insane.
He probably didn't
in front of your girlfriend, too.
Anyway, so here we are. So we're at the tail end of things. There was some news that I had got that was going to require some significant changes in my life,
right?
And I didn't know how to handle that yet. But more importantly, that when I was talking with my partner at this time, we didn't have us.
Yeah.
We were okay. Like I said, we were still doing events, still going to parties, showing up as a couple, and
right.
I'm always very nice.
Right.
I'm always very helpful. I'm
Courteous,
It's usually hard to look at me and be like, that guy is unhappy.
Right.
Because my outward exterior is usually I have so many distractions in my mind. I'm happy to do whatever.
Right.
I'm always in a good moment as long as there's good people around me. But it's the when you go home and your connection, it ain't what it used to be.
Right.
And it's. So here's the nugget. Here's the breakthrough. I think that the situation that I'm in right now, and I kept saying this to all the parties involved, was I needed to just stand up and be I can tell that I'm not here anymore.
Right.
I can tell that we don't have it like we used to.
Yeah.
Even though we're both talking about trying and talking about hey, well, if I do this thing, I'll get money. I'll be able to do more of the things because that my mother was investing in the business with us. She was okay, Larry, this is what you want to do. I'll put money together so that you can.
Right.
You're going to have to make up she gave me 80% of what I needed. So I just needed to make 20%.
Right.
So obviously I had what we were doing. I had her help, but then I had photography side gigs and things just to try to make all the money I needed. But it got to a point where my mother had stopped her investment.
Right.
And so Jenny even stepped in sorry.
Bleep.
No, it's too late now.
No, it's only 8 people.
It's cool, but it's not cool. But it just spilled because I'm just exposing it all. She stepped in and was okay, well, you know what? You've supported me all that time. allow me to do it for you, which was like awesome. Like I had food, I had gas money, I had, you know, just somebody supporting me that way, which that part was huge, right? Like huge. I never looked at this person like, I don't believe you add value to my life. I don't think that you're somebody who loves me or like is with me. But that doesn't mean that like we are trying our best to do square peg round hole. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we got to a point where like we had just come back from like she was on a business trip. First half she was doing business. Second half she was like visiting her family. And so she was like, I want you to come to be with my family. And I was like, man, that's going to be like 3 days of the show that I can't do, or that's going to be like a gig that I also booked that I can't do. But I was like, Larry, if you want this to work, you're gonna have to do something, right?
Do like, stuff,
And I told her at first, like, I don't want to go. And she was like, she didn't take that very well. She was upset. So then I was like, okay, the truth is, I don't think I can afford to go.
Right.
And she knew that. And so she was like, oh well, I'll sponsor it. You can just pay me back. So she got my tickets, and then I paid her back. And then some shit happened at the airport. Like, oh man, like my account had gotten so low that like, so I was waiting on money to come in that I had earned and that I had set up for myself. But a payment went through that basically took the bag money. Like, you know, you have to pay $50 to man, I was hurting. And so that payment, I was like, oh shit, I'm stuck at the airport. I'm not going to be able to make it. So then she like wired me like $250 to make sure that I could pay that, and had travel expense money. I paid that back as well. So like now I'm super clean and clear, just to be completely honest. I've gotten through that situation. I'm in a better spot completely. Like I was able to do so much more now. Because obviously things came through within a week's time worth of moves that I had made. And then I signed a really big music video deal with a friend of mine who's put all money up front. And I'm doing 10 music videos for him. Shot one this weekend. Anyway, all that aside. So here's where things blew up for me. And what I wanted to say was I should have just finally stood up and been like, I'm not happy. I don't have what I need, and neither do you. And we aren't happy together. Like there were so many opportunities for us to have that, because leading up until me getting on this airplane that I got on, there were, how come you're not talking about me in your life? How come you're not, you know, buying me flowers? No, I'm just saying.
Like in general?
In general. How come you're not talking about me in your life? How come you're not buying me flowers or taking me on dates? How come you're not ignoring the business people that you're supposed to be throwing this party for and hang out with me and like take care of me? How come you want to go and do all this fun stuff while we're supposed to be up here on vacation? How come you look at your car with more interest than you look at me? Right? So like, these are all concerns that a significant other can and should have. But like, it doesn't mean that I was bad. It meant that like I didn't have the answer that you wanted, which was the reason why those things aren't happening is because I don't have those feelings that would have made those things happen. But I ignored them, and I kept like just trying to endure or buy time, or because I didn't know
to make peace.
I didn't. But this is where it all honestly breaks down. So I was on this flight back home, and I saw this woman, and like,
this is on the way back.
I was in the very last seat of the plane, so she was like the back half. She was on the back half of the plane as well. Flight comes to an end, and like I had looked back when the plane was landing, and she had like fallen out of her seat. And I was laughing. But like before I got off the plane, I turned around. I was like, man, I almost had to jump back here and save you guys because I saw you had fallen out of your seat. And then we all just started like chit chatting and joking and stuff. And she didn't really say much. The other person next to her was like, oh, so like, what do you do? What's up? And I was like, oh, I'm in video games. I do video game design. She's like, oh, my nephew, he loves video games. You should do that. I was like, oh, really? I was like, I'm helping a school that teaches people how to do games. It's like, I was extra hyped because she was talking about what I love. So I was like, yeah, take my information. Whatever your nephew needs, just let me know. I got him. It's cool. I'll help. I always do this. And I was like, all right, see ya. Walked clean off the plane. But the moment that I didn't express in that story just right then, and sorry if we go over time, this is actually really good for me, so I appreciate it if we could keep going.
We're here.
I looked this woman in her face, not the woman talking about the nephew, but the woman on her left. And like, she caught me looking at her, but like, I didn't stop. And my body was like warm, and I was like, you know how you like hear something,
Yeah.
but your kid is acting up in the other room,
Yeah,
so like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
kind of paying attention to this, but you're like all
Yeah.
man, I was locked in with this
Drawn,
person
yeah.
in a moment that like I just can't express the feeling. It's really hard to even describe it like this. It sounds stupid, but this is the true story. And then as I was looking, I was like, Larry, what the fuck, man? I was like, no matter how attracted, no matter how awesome, I was like, what does this actually even mean to you, right? Like, let's assume everything goes in your favor, right? Like, you and Jenny break up. Fuck. You and your significant other break up.
Yeah.
You're interested in this person. You're attracted to this person. She seems to have like everything physical you could even think to ask for.
Yeah.
But what after that, right? Like she's gonna fly all over the place.
Right.
You met her on an airplane.
Right.
How's that even a thing? And like I just appreciated that I had that moment. That I had feelings that I didn't felt. And I didn't feel for a very long time.
Yeah.
That was an indicator to me that like I'm unhappy because I'm staying somewhere where I'm unhappy.
Right.
Because I just had like a taste of like what I chemically would be like. You can't describe your attraction. You cannot describe that effect that just you're just like caught in something.
Yeah.
But I got the fuck off of that airplane. I was like, all right, see you guys later.
Yeah.
Left. And then the person was even like, oh, I wonder where there's a place to get a drink out here.
Yeah.
And I was like, Newport Beach, Huntington Beach. You can go over here. You can go over there.
What's that Eddie Murphy part?
What?
Just things dropping out.
Excuse me. That's fine. Excuse me. Yeah. So I like, I got clean off of that airplane, man.
Yeah.
Clean off the airplane.
Clean. All right. So far, so clean.
So, well, it's okay. So I'm going to expose everything because I know there's flaws here.
Yeah.
And again, this is a breakthrough podcast. So I'm going to share this.
Yeah.
Hopefully to help other people. It's not going to help me. It's going to help other people, though. It's probably going to make it worse for me because I've already said the dang girl's name like 3 times.
You don't have to mention it. It's been bleeped.
Okay. Well, all right, cool. So get off the plane, go to baggage claim, grab my bags. I walk out of baggage claim, and they're like, oh, if you're catching a ride share, you actually have to go upstairs. And the escalator was at the next door from where I was. So I'm walking out with my bag past the escalator, or to the door where the escalator is, and there's that girl again.
Wow, coincidence.
And so I just like, all right, hey, see you guys, and like waved.
Yeah.
And then gone, went clean upstairs.
Yeah.
Got in my lift, got in my lift and drove home. To get my car to then pick Jenny up from the airport.
Bleep.
No, I mean, fuck it, man. At this point, fuck it. To pick up my girlfriend at the airport.
Yeah.
Picked her up and like, you know, hey, happy to see you and all this and all that. And I knew in my mind that like I had this whole thing happen. At that time in my mind, I was like, I'm safe, as in like I didn't mess anything up.
Right.
But I still knew what I thought.
Yeah.
I knew what I felt.
Yeah. You felt guilt. Yeah.
We still went along like nothing, you know, nothing, whatever. Took her home and like, you know, dropped her back off, and like we were having, I guess, the rest of our weekend because we had all this has gone out. So like I'm pretty thorough with the timeline now.
Yeah.
So we had still spent a lot of time together, but I was at my apartment and somewhere in this timeline, and I got the first message. It was like a day later, or maybe the same day. No, it was a day later. I got the first message from the other person who was talking about her nephew. Says, I hope you. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
But my friend had a mega crush on you. And so I was like, I'm still gonna play it safe, but I knew my feelings. I was like, yeah. I looked at her. I thought she was like phenomenal. I had this and all that.
These are clean.
Like no,
very clean.
That's not clean, man. That's not clean.
To compliment.
No, I wasn't. But I shouldn't have had those compliments to say like, she looked amazing and I had this moment and like I thought everything was great.
So
like,
you baited it a bit.
Well, I just told her because I felt like.
I guess the
her.
wrongness happens when if you feel your partner, if she were in a similar situation, did the same, would you have felt offended?
I would have been offended if my partner had this with somebody and then still tried to be with me and then be with that other person.
Oh, like so yours is more actionable. If something was committed through action,
I know me very well. If my partner ever talked to someone behind my back, I'd obviously be pissed.
Okay.
Like I'm not stupid. I would be pissed.
Okay.
I would hate that.
Okay.
I would absolutely.
So
hate
obviously in this situation,
we're not. She and I aren't in. We're aligned there. Like I'm sure I would hate it.
Okay.
But I hadn't talked to the actual person I was talking about yet. I was just telling the friend like, oh yeah, you know, she was beautiful, she was gorgeous, and that, this and that, and she was super nice, and all this and all that.
Right.
And let me know if you ever need anything for your nephew. Right?
Yeah.
Like that was it. She even put that girl's phone number. Yeah. And I didn't call.
Yeah.
I didn't call.
Okay.
But I just gave her those compliments to hope that like, hey, here, have this. Yeah. You know, I did honestly feel that way, But like, I just like, hey, so let me know, or what, I don't know, whatever I said about my
Right.
nephew.
So in this timeline, your girlfriend,
The main fuck up at this
already
point
cheated,
was,
right? Like you already cheated.
Well, to her, I don't think the cheating validation showed up until I'll tell you the thing that probably started.
So all this is cool.
No. Okay. So that moment where I just looked at the girl and had those thoughts, no girlfriend ever will be able to be in control of that.
Okay.
You just have to hope that your partner won't act on it or won't have that.
Yeah.
Like your partner is going to see people all day.
Yeah.
But if you guys are strong, your partner most likely won't be thinking of like, man, what if?
Yeah.
They'd be thinking like, oh wow, look at that cute girl.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's a natural attraction, yeah.
So, but it was like, so I sent that message back and I was like, but whatever you need for your nephew, let me know. And like, I never called or reached out to that other person yet, even still. And then a third thing happened where like somehow, some way, like, cause I was barely using my own personal Instagram at the time. I was using the one for my car.
Yeah.
But then I went to my personal one and I saw that like there was a friend request there.
Right.
And so I was like, oh damn. I was like, there it is again. And I was like, man, I was like, shit, man. I was like, I knew what I felt. I knew how I felt.
Yeah.
And I was considering even like where we were with things with my girlfriend at the time and just how I was even feeling about this other person. And I was like, man, if I even have any of this, like it's like double, triple confirming. Like I just kept getting these confirmations of like, one, that this person is like trying to get in, but two, that like, because I'm even having this conversation myself, I should probably be getting out.
Right.
So, basically I did start talking to that girl on Instagram and like we were just chatting messages and like just dumb stuff. I was like, oh, so TV's in the bedroom was part of the original conversation. I forgot what I said, but I was like, I just have a TV in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I didn't say bedroom in any sort of innuendo flirty way. It wasn't like you can.
It's a matter of fact.
If anyone wants to be honest,
the
first conversation was never on any sort of like, I'm attracted to you. I want to be with you. And I was just back there just joking around and then got off the plane. But yeah, I used that as like my icebreaker. Like, hey, so what was that you were saying so that she would remember me? And then she did. And then we were talking and she brought up, I was like, oh, I see that you actually have somebody. I'm so sorry. I don't want this to be disrespectful and this and all that. And I was like, no, look, my life is changing. I said, I'm going through something right now that's going to have me in a different spot where like I will feel differently, but I know that this person's not going to be there in my life anymore. And I said, maybe we can just get to know each other without any sort of like expectation or circumstance, right? So that's me. Like, I still did want to talk to her, and I did. So I don't turn back from that. I still wanted to talk to this girl, and so I did. Like, I would keep talking to her, and then I think so. My girlfriend and I at the time had to do like a weekend event where we went to like a keto thing, and like I'm around like all these new keto people. So I'm still just being like, hey, what's up? Doing my thing, and like whatever, and like there was just. I knew that my connection was like super fading. I knew that like I just kept thinking about this other person. And this is complete, open, vulnerable honesty here. Whatever backlash I get, I have to accept that. Like, it's fine. So fast forward the scenario. So then I leave this person's house and like she was telling me, she was like, you even kissed me and you said you love me and you left and all this and all that. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see that because that's what I always did when I left you. When did I ever not do that? Right. So like, it's a dead giveaway. And I don't want to say that with a smile, but it is. Like, I knew that I was like, there were some things that we did where like, I knew that I just wasn't there anymore. In all honesty. But I didn't tell her right then and there, man. I didn't just like.
Cut it off,
So then I went home and I took like 3-4 days to just myself to just like decompress, to like really evaluate how I felt about this whole situation, to really observe what the hell was going on and like why I'm feeling this way versus why can't I, like, Larry, you're so far into this thing that you've done, like you're almost there, right? Like it could be just get over whatever, like get out of your situation, try to fix whatever. Like I was going back and forth. Meanwhile, the person that I was talking to was going through this big ordeal of her own to, I guess, go from one location to another. And like, I was like, oh damn, you're going to drive all that far? You're going to do all this and all that? So like trying to be nice and like trying to like take care of the person I'm interested in. I like booked her a massage at a place to like, you know, like, hey, you've been cooped up in a car for that long. I think this will help you. And like, I'm like doing all the nice things, genuinely interested that obviously my significant other was like, this is the stuff that you should have been doing for me. Right. This is what I've been begging for, that I've been wanting. And so that's like, for me, it's not that I'm incapable because clearly I put 2 and 2 together to try to create a scenario that would make someone happy. but I didn't do that for the person who thought that they deserved it, or who it should have gone to, because at the time, you know, all the months that she was complaining, she was my girlfriend, and I wasn't doing those things. So anyway, long story short, that person gets to their final destination and is like super happy, like, oh, it's so thoughtful, it's so kind, no one did this, da da da, and then it's like it felt so good, man. It was cool. So then, just chatting one day, I think this was like a Tuesday maybe. They were like, hey, I'm gonna be in Vegas for an extra day. It wasn't supposed to be that way, but I am. And just chit chat, complaining like, oh, my job, this, and like I was like, wait, what? You're gonna be there for an extra day? Like, oh, so then I was like, you know, I could probably get down there. I could probably see her. I was like, that's not that far. I don't mind. I was like, I got paid from Mike. I was like, everything's good. Like, I can do it. And even that should have been a moment to be like, hey, my feelings are still the same, Jenny. I don't want to be with you anymore. Because we had this conversation already. Like, I had never seen this girl again that I'm talking about trying to see. Never seen her again. Been talking to her. But I told my girlfriend that, like, I don't want to be with you anymore. We had this talk by this point that, like, I can't. So I did finally, like, say something. But she dug deep, man. This woman, like, no, we need to, like, really try, and, like, we can fight through this, and we can do this. And, like, so my heart is like, because, like, I'm seeing vigor, right? I'm seeing passion and drive, and, like, it had to have been a Friday, I'm guessing, or a Saturday, because I know that there was, after that conversation, there was still, like, a day of her, like, extra hugging and loving and, like, trying to be, like, really trying to, like, attach to me. But, like, in my mind, I'm already, like,
suffocated.
Well, I guess I was conflicted, because, like, I was giving her valid credit for, like, immediately seeing that she was, like, putting her money where her mouth was. But I knew that I wasn't going to meet her halfway. And I didn't say anything. So anyway, so then I made the drive to Vegas. And sorry for running long. We're getting to the juicy parts. Made it to Vegas, and I see this girl, and she ran up and just jumped into my arms. And I just, like, hugged her, and it was just like, it was such a good moment. And then we had, like, dinner, we were catching up, and, like, as we're having dinner, and, like, I'm praying over my food, and she was like, she's very faithful as well, Christian, and so like we, like, prayed together, and, like, we were sharing all these stories and just all this good energy, like, sweet romantic energy that both Jenny and myself were deprived of. Like, I was having it, right? Like, it was there. And then we, like, went and gambled, and we had, like, fun. Like, everything that we did was just like, wow. This is like, I feel so great. I feel so awesome. And it wasn't like I gave up someone who was 85% match for someone who had the missing 15%, but might not have been a total. Like, no, this was like, I'm just, everything that I could possibly think to do, say, or experience with you has been dead on for both of us. Right. And, like, the connection was just super strong. It was more than just us looking at each other's eyes now. This was like, that human experience, that human connection was just super solid. Right. So I ended up staying in Vegas till, like, 2:30 in the morning, just hanging out with this person. And then I got back to my car, and I just sat in my car, and I was like, hey, like, my feelings didn't change. I know for sure that, like, I can't be with you anymore, and that I have to be. I didn't say I have to be with someone else. I said, but I know for sure that I can't be with you anymore. Like, as soon as, like, I got right into my car, like, I drove home, and obviously, like, I knew then for sure that, like, like, you are completely moving on. Regardless of it even being this person, you can't ignore that you got yourself into a situation that you wouldn't have been in if you were going to stay. So I told her immediately, and I sent her that message like 2:30 something in the morning. I didn't get a response back, so I didn't call or nothing. I just went home, went to sleep. And then still no response back. So I was like, all right, well, she's probably pissed. Like, it's understandable. It's okay. But then I'm now still talking to this other person. But I felt not vindicated. I felt like, okay, well, I know I'm not here. I know I didn't, like, go see this person and then go back to her. I know I didn't, like, sleep with this person and then try to, like, I there's a defining point where there was a break. And so from that point on, I didn't have any personal problems, like, trying to engage or develop or fully, like, experience what this other person was bringing into my life. And I mean, I enjoyed it. Like, I really did. And so, so then I finally get a text message from my girlfriend at the time, well, from my ex now, and she was like, hey, you want to talk about all this?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, sure. Actually, no problem. She was like, does Saturday work for you? Like she asked me if I wanted to meet on Saturday, and because I can confirm, I actually went back to reread all these texts to try to put everyone's logic into place, because at the end of the story, man, I'm sorry I'm taking so long, but it's gonna go down. I promise you, it's worth it. Are we missing anything?
It's about to go down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so here's how it goes down. So I get this text like, "Hey, can we talk? Let's let's just have that last talk or whatever." So she asked if I can do it Saturday, and I was like, "Cool, no problem. It just has to be in the evening." Because I was expecting to go back to LA to work on cars like I would usually do, like 3 out of 4 Saturdays a month I would work on cars. And I was expecting to do that, so I knew I wouldn't be home until late. So she was like, everything was fine, everything was cool. So like, I don't hate this girl. This girl's been important, and like, she went to bat for me for the whole time. I'm not gonna lie, and I will never take that from her. This girl,
I'm sniffing a trap.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. This girl went to bat for me for the whole time.
Of course. Been in a supporting system,
Even if it's a trap or whatever you're saying, that's fine, because I made my bed, right? Like, I made my decision. I knew that I was leaving. So this is just what you deal with. Anyway, I get another text like, "Hey, can I borrow the camera so I can take some pictures?" I'm talking about like $3,000 camera plus like $800 lens, well $700 lens, and like $200 microphone, like all this other stuff in that whole bag. But I don't hate this. I'm like, of course, no problem. Whatever you need, like, go for it. Take it.
I'm so glad we have the camera still.
No, it's so my photography camera.
Oh, okay.
So my whole photography business is now like, I don't know what the fuck, because obviously she's still. But it's, to be fair, like, and this is complete honesty, like in the relationship, right? Like, I bought her a camera for her birthday. She didn't want that camera. So then I took it back and I sold it to try to get her the camera that she actually wanted, right? So I was like, you got a free camera, but it's not the one you want. So I took it back and I was like, all right, I'll get the one that you want. But a lot of time had passed. So then I got this other camera and she was pissed. I was like, well, you never told me what camera you wanted. But then just to be like, you know what? Fuck all this. Just take, this is your camera. So like, just let me use it when I need it, but this is your camera. I don't care, right? So like, I have to live up to that, right? Like, she borrowed it and we broke up, and I knew I wasn't gonna get it back. Not that moment, but I knew that, like, after. I'll tell you when I knew I wasn't getting it back. I'm just being honest with you. I was like, look, fine, you're so mad. Then I have another camera for myself, and you still didn't get the one you were supposed to get as a gift. Like, okay, fine. Look, just take this way more expensive camera than I ever would have been able to get just to be as a gift. Like, this is a business investment, but fine. As long as I have access to it, I'm not losing anything. So I was like, this is yours. I said that. I have to own that. Okay. I said that to her.
It's given.
All right, so I'm in my mind thinking like, okay, like, she knows we're broken up. We're going to talk on a Saturday. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
It's cool. She can live her life. She's free from, just being happy with me. Okay.
Yeah.
She can actually, like, legitimately live.
Yeah.
So I was insensitive in the fact that, like, so I'm now like, so I get a text message again, and this was when me, you, and Ray and Brian were at the restaurant.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw, I was like extra happy all of a sudden, or like I was deep in my phone that day. Because I'm sure you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
I got a message that was like, I'm going to be in Santa Ana tomorrow. And I blew up. I was like, oh shit. I was like, yes. Yeah. Okay. So I was like, all right. I was like, look, I just have to work 2 hours. I do this video thing in the morning. And then for the rest of that day, I'm yours. I'm going to do all that. Like, I'm going to take, and this is me just out of nowhere. Like, we're going to, like, I had it all set up. Yeah. So next day comes, we did our show. And like that day I was like, all right, everything. Like, I was on, left your house, go pick this person up. And like, obviously happy to see each other again. Yeah. Took them to the block, because the block was close to where her hotel was, and so we went into the block, just like prancing romance. And I mean, like, we're full out. Like, if anybody who knew that I used to be with somebody would have clean seen me and would have been in mass confusion. Like, what the fuck? I did not. I felt bad, and I have to say this, but I didn't feel bad. I felt bad in the sense that, like, I knew that I was happy doing that.
Well, you guys are cleanly off at that point.
I knew that I had told her officially that, like,
clean.
But it's still very early. Right, like, let's just be real. Even still, like,
why is it early?
Come on, man.
Yes, I understand. There is a mutual out of respect thing, but from what I hear, you guys were in a relationship a year too long. But as long as there's I understand the feelings are there.
Yeah.
If someone else has seen that, then it's a complete surprise because it feels like there was a chance till the very end, right?
Yeah.
I understand that. I respect that.
Exactly.
But this is where, again, I say you're a lot more empathetic than I am when it comes to breaks, right? Because I'm more like, I'm done, I'm off, right? Yours is like, there's the whole layover and you're trying to still look on the other side of the fence to make sure they're okay. But it's just a lot of stress that you're really putting on yourself.
So here come the fireworks.
Here comes the fireworks.
So we're having this great day. I mean, like, just killing it and all factors. And I'm completely out in public.
Super happy,
I don't care. Like, nothing is going to stop me because I knew that, like, I told the person how I felt that I wasn't going to be back.
Yeah.
I told the person that I was with that this is what I wanted. And I even told that person, like, I was in a situation I needed to get out of, and I explained my side. I explained my half. And so up to that point, like, she was fine. Yeah. So we're having a great time. We go out to dinner. Yeah. And at dinner, she's like, hey, do you mind if I post this? I'm like, yeah, go for it. Oh. No, seriously.
It should be clean. It should be clean. It should be clean.
I missed the detail. So, a friend of my ex's, right? Like, I had already. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get. A friend of my ex's had already, like, tried to follow this person on Instagram. I'm assuming because they saw that I had, like, became friends and, like, liked maybe 5 or 6 of her pictures or whatever, like some inspirational quotes and some, like, really nice pictures.
That is some sleuthing.
That
is some next level sleuthing, bro.
This is
like, oh my god.
And so they reached out like, hey, I'm really trying to lose weight, and, like, I like your page, I like your fitness, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. Maybe you can coach me, maybe you can do X, Y, and Z. This is a friend of my ex's, like a legit, like, I know this person, I met this person. So as soon as the girl told me, like, hey, this person reached out and said all this, I was like, oh, that's actually my ex-girlfriend's friend. Yeah. All of what that she just said right there is completely fake. Yeah. That's not true. I said they're probably just trying to fish up on me to see, like, if I'm moving on with you or something. Yeah. But I didn't hide it. I didn't feel bad because, like, they're gonna know at some point. Like, it didn't bother me, so I didn't, like, ever hide it. And so I didn't tell her to block her, unfriend her, or whatever. But she blocked her, and so then, or actually, I don't know if she blocked her at that time, but I told her that. I think she blocked her at that time. We're out to dinner. She's doing, like, the video thing, and, like, there's me in the picture, and, like, there's our food and, like, all that stuff, and she posted on her account. Within maybe 50 seconds, my phone started doing the Macarena, right? Like, it was just, and hers too, right? So, like, we finished dinner and everything, and, like, as I'm going back to drop her off, I had, like, pulled up my phone. You know how it lights up like this where you can see, like, a little bit? I had already seen, like, maybe 10, 15 messages, and the last 2 were like, fuck you, this and that, like, I hope you rot in hell and all this and all that. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, well, I'll get to that when I have the time. But I already knew it was bad. And so I was like, what the girl said to me, she was like, as she posted, she was like, wait, that friend of your ex's follows me. I was like, yeah. And she was like, do you want me to delete this? I was like, no. I was like, why?
Yeah.
There's
no wrong here.
I stood in my chair. I was like, no, don't. I was like, go ahead and post it. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be with you. Post it. I don't care. Yeah. And then, like, that's when World War III started, right?
Started?
That's when it started. So we're in the car, and, like, she had, like, read some of the messages that came to her from the friend that was like, hey, I'm trying to learn about fitness. I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. Is now, like, calling this woman disgusting names and, like, just cussing her out and saying all this and, like, saying all that. I'm not going to share because I'm trying my best to maintain privacy. I've already revealed my ex's name, but, like, I'm trying my best to just, like, so she was lighting this girl up and she was lighting me up. Yeah. I just let mine go because I was like, I don't care. I don't even need to see it. I don't care. I don't feel bad. I'm happy. I'm pursuing happiness. And
so the anger is coming from thinking that you guys were, like, cheating for a long time, right?
Well, because the day that I liked that girl's photos and like follow her Instagram was, like, way in the past. This was, like, it was after the airplane.
Clean.
But here's the thing. There was time where, like, I'm
like an umpire checking the footage, or a ref checking the footage.
Putting myself in that person's shoes, right? Like, there was time where I was still in that relationship, and then I was also talking to the person that I was moving on with. Right. But the first time I actually saw that person again in person, I, like, got in my car and I was like, I'm
it's
sorry,
done. It's a done deal.
It's done. I can't be with you. Yeah. So I where I stood was like, I was happy that I was moving on.
Yeah.
I was happy to be with somebody that I thought was going to grow.
So this is where it's subjective. Where is the line of cheating?
No, it's
when it comes to personal.
Just go. It doesn't. Adding a different name doesn't change the outcome.
No, I called it cheating.
No,
I didn't try to hide it.
No, yeah.
But like I equate to cheating to anything that if you feel the opposite partner, if they repeated the same exact thing, would you feel that way, right?
Oh.
Because every couple's different, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you can, because there are couples that are like, yeah, you can flirt, you just whatever.
Yeah,
Just come back, just make sure you're clean, you know?
No, I'm
Don't
not
do
that.
anything.
I'm not that.
Right. If you're a person, if she did the exact same step, and you would you have felt the same way?
Here's
that
what would
is
have happened
yeah.
if I was on the opposite side.
Yeah.
If I was with somebody that I found out was talking to this new person for like a week, and then saw this person,
Yeah.
but then after that was like, hey, I got to move on from you. I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, well, Larry, you didn't make the cut, man.
Yeah.
Like, the last person that broke up with me didn't necessarily say that they moved on with another person. I may have had or had not, whatever idea was happening. I broke it down to, it doesn't matter what you're telling me. You're telling me you don't want me in your life anymore.
Right.
And so I just bowed out.
That's where we actually share the same thing. I get very introspective. Like, I don't go after if of course there's gonna be an with who?
Yeah.
But like in the very end, I would think, all right, obviously I failed at some point, right? Where I allowed this to happen, no matter how long it went for or whatever. I failed.
Yeah.
Where this happened, right? There's something about myself that this person doesn't want to be a part of, emotionally first and then physically after, right? That's how I see every situation when it comes to it. And I'm very realistic about that because I don't want to force someone to be with me if they don't want to be there. And so, of course, there's an initial human reaction. It's like, what you do? But like after that, I also respect myself to not stay with that person, right? Whereas like, all right, we gave it a shot. I'm moving on, and maybe I can carry that forward in the next week. But I'm never sticking around. Yeah. I'm never going in the comment section because for me, it's like it's just counterproductive. Yeah. But honestly, it's a favor. It's like, hey, if you can rather do it now than when I am unphysically attractive. You know what I mean?
There's
when
no rebound.
There's no rebound later when I'm like 60, right?
Yeah.
So this is good. Yeah. I know it's kind of harsh to say it that way, but with some time, it becomes that, right? I don't think there's any way to look about it but that.
So here, all right.
So give me the number 3.
We're finally at the, so I'm driving this girl to her hotel, and like, she's holding back tears because I didn't get to see what the other person wrote to her. I never asked to look.
Right.
I just already knew from jump that like
it's bad.
We're about to get set up. As soon as I saw that person was like, "Oh, I'm interested in dieting and this and that," and I was like,
something.
And then that person even tried to tell me. I just so happened to reach out to ask for dieting advice from that person. And I'm like, man, hit somebody else with that bullshit.
Yeah,
like, I'm not stupid.
BS, yeah.
But I didn't jump in because like I wasn't even going to entertain it. I had already been wronged by this person in the past, so I already knew what to expect. And I wasn't.
So is the same friend that wronged you in the past? What are you talking about? The friend of the So something has happened before.
Something I wrote her off in my book because she did something to me where I was supposed to help her, and I did. And then she threw me under the bus.
Oh, and so that's what I'm saying,
so
dude.
So that's why like,
I'm saying, dude.
That's why when this went down and I saw the name and who it was, I automatically
it's like, oh, I know what she comes with. Right?
I already knew, but like, I also was never going to reach out or like talk to this person because that was
worth
off the
my
table
time
for me.
Yeah.
It had already become somebody that I'd written off.
That's good.
But basically, so where we are now. So this girl is in my car, like near tears, and is like.
Near tears now.
She was holding back some feelings because obviously she was like, "I've never been talked to this way."
Oh, just the hate.
Because the initial was an attack on her. Like, how can you do this? How can you must be a this, you must be a that. This is what I'm assuming based on what I was told.
Yeah.
So like, this is my fault too because that's why I talk about there being a window of like, I didn't have to post that.
Right.
I didn't have any reason to be afraid to post it, but like I could have been like, just out of respect.
Right, just save,
I didn't,
right.
Because I stood on, no, I'm gonna enjoy.
I didn't do anything wrong.
I don't feel bad, so go ahead and post it. And I even knew that like there was gonna be backlash, but I thought it was gonna be backlash of like you're moving on too fast versus you are a horrible, terrible person, and like so.
The timeline, right?
So here we go. So we go back to the house, drop her off. which actually didn't end up being a drop off. I was like, look, I can just drop you off if you want. I want to be respectful of you. She was even like, what do you think I should do in my decision or in my situation? And I could have easily said, trust me, be with me, I said, look, you always have to do what is best for you.
Yeah.
Always look from your perspective and try to find what you need.
Yeah.
And do that.
Yeah.
Because if I'm right for you, you will do what I'm hoping that I would have told you anyway, right? And we will work out.
Yeah.
If I am wrong for you, or you even just decide that I'm wrong for you, which is your right, you're going to do something else. I may not like that, but I have to live with that. Right. So I'm never going to tell somebody to do what I want them to do. Yeah. I will hope. Yeah. So I told her, like, no, you got to do what's right for you. I told her that. That's good advice. Like, she was like, well, you can still come up. So we went out. Nothing happened. We just like bullshitted watching Cops. And like we laid in the bed together and we did spend the night. Yeah. But
nothing happened.
In all honesty, hand to God, and for the respect of this person that I'm talking about, nothing happened. Nothing bad at all. So then I leave the next morning, walk her stuff down, and whatever. Both of our phones probably were still getting hit up.
Yeah. Man.
So it's fine. It's fine. So then like I'm like doing my own thing the next day, and like all of a sudden the communications like changed a little bit. Oh. And I was like, hey, how are you? This and that. Like, I'm not hearing from you. What's up? And she was like,
after the morning?
Yeah.
So there was a period of.
She said, when I get to a certain location, you and I are going to talk, and you have a lot of explaining to do. And so I was like, all right, well, it's concerning that that's what you have to say, but no problem.
From a new person?
This is from the same girl. This is from the girl that I dropped off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But like, as in like a
new relationship.
A new relationship. That's not what you want to hear at the beginning.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's very concerning, but no problem. I'll tell you whatever. No. But I didn't even go into that mode. I didn't go into that mode because I was like, they're either going to be yelling and screaming and talking about X, Y, and Z, and I'm just going to have to tell her why I did what or how I felt, and I'm going to have to hope for the best because I'm not going to cheat to win. Yeah. I even said that. I was like, I don't care what you say. I'm going to answer it. I'm not going to lie to you. You're either going to like what I have to say or you won't. Yeah. But I'm not going to try to shift or like change shit. Yeah. So like she and I were going back and forth, but slowly, and she just said, point blank, don't even give me an explanation. Did you ever cheat on Jenny? And I'm like, man, what the fuck kind of unfair question is that? Because I'm like, I'm going to give you my answer, but I know you've already had a story that like if I don't match, you know what I mean, you're going to be upset about it. Even if I'm the one saying my honesty and the other person is saying their honesty. But I told him, I was like, no, I didn't ever cheat on her. Because I knew that the one thing that would have been was like the girl I dated in between at the hospital. But I knew that I never went back. And we had broken up there. That was our first big breakup. And I knew that this was like the second one that you would consider that. And so I was like, I sent a clear, like, I'm not coming back. Yeah. And this is the second time even, which also should have been evidence that like we were doing the right thing. Yeah. I've left twice. Yeah. We're not going to. Anyway, I'm not trying to uncover that dirt. Yeah. So I was like, with confidence, I was like, no, I never didn't. And so, but I don't know so I found out that they like coordinated behind the scenes.
So you didn't know the coordination happened?
I didn't know the coordination happened. So they were like sending stuff back and forth or whatever, which I've already was like, well, that obviously was like a distrust, but I tried to put myself in their shoes and be like, well,
they're trying to figure
they just met me, so they're trying to figure me out. So they're of course going to want to hear whatever, but I would not want somebody to like go behind my back like that. But what grace do I have in saying that? Because I went behind my ex's back to talk to this person. Sure. So I chalked it up to like 0-0. Look, what's fair is fair. Yeah. They talked. They said whatever. All I can do is just try to refute. Yeah. So like, I'm talking to her and trying to be like, man, this is bullshit. Like, this is what happened. Yeah. So then I go to Jenny and I'm like, man, it's like, this is what went down. It's like, this is crazy. And like, I'm sending stuff back and forth. And this person who I was seeing was like, look, I gave you a chance to be honest. You weren't honest. Don't ever talk to me again. Leave me alone. Jeez. And I was like, man, what the fuck? Yeah. And I was like, no, you don't. So I'm trying to explain and then trying to explain. But by me trying to explain was not me like, let me try to work some slick shit out to try to like. No, I was like, I was sitting on that
layers
bed,
to
like,
this,
trying my best. Meanwhile, this other person who like orchestrated the whole thing, because out of nowhere, I was like talking to the girl. I was like, look, this whole thing is a tornado. I was like, I don't know why I'm getting so much animosity. I could at least understand that they were going to be upset that we were seeing each other, but like, there's no right. She's not my girlfriend anymore. She's just mad. She's angry.
It's sabotaging.
But it feels like a sabotage. It feels like the person that reached out to you that was like, hey, I'm interested in diet advice and this and that. I said, it feels like that person is like trying to orchestrate something. And I said, and I just already refused to deal with that person. So I told the girl, I was like, I'm just going to go straight to the source. Jenny and I were supposed to have a talk on Saturday that she asked for, and this was Friday at the time. So I was like, I'm just going to go there today. We're just going to handle this, and the cows have to come home, and wherever they settle is where they settle. I got to own this shit. This is my life. I made choices. I'm that guy, man. Like, for right or wrong, I'm a human being.
Right.
I try my best to do my best, but if I do wrong, and you even know this, because we've been in a situation before.
Yeah.
Larry, man, fuck you, man. You did this and that, this and that. What was my response? No, F you. I didn't do this. Or was it like, okay, you're right, man.
Straight to the
I messed that up. All right, what can I do to make that better or whatever? Like, I would rather just deal with the problems.
You went over it.
No, I didn't even get to go there. So, like, as I'm still texting, like, I need to go straight to the source and just deal with this. Just give me today to settle this out. And I said, I hope you still like me after today. I'm not going to force anybody to be with me, no matter how good or how bad.
No.
So here we go.
But you went to the... You went to the source to talk.
No, the source came to me.
The source came to you.
Bing, dong. So I'm like, oh, whoever that is. So I just walked to the door and I opened it up. And there's my ex. She's like shaking. Like, I saw her. I paid attention. Her right hand was like shaking. And she had a box. She had 2 boxes.
Oh my God.
Of like stuff. And she just went, plow, dropped it on the ground. And my first thought was like, those boxes look real small. Like, I'm pretty sure that camera's not in there. I'm real shitty. I'm real shitty. Well, because I'm not shitty, but like I knew that I lent it to her, and at this point,
you're not getting. Yeah, you're not getting.
Now
that.
I was already thinking like I'm not getting that back.
The most expensive thing.
That's gonna be the hurt right there. But I was like, so like when the boxes hit the ground, I like, it's not in there. I was like, but I'm also like, but it's not in there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I already know that this. Yeah. So she's like, I've never been disrespected. I've never been treated like this, and yada yada, and I'm like, hey, can we talk? Because I just told the person I need to talk and I want to talk to handle this. We were going to have a talk. You're now here. Let's just get everything out. No, you don't get to, like, that was, I heard, no, you don't get to talk. And then like the other girl came from, no, seriously.
Girl.
The other girl came and like was behind. So they're both now sitting there yelling at me. And I'm trying to just be like, hey, look, this, no, you don't, okay, but you don't understand. And I'm just like, man, fuck. So I'm just sitting there like, I'm just watching it go up and up and up and up and up. This is in the hallway. All the neighbors I know are like, oh shit, like at their door. You know what I mean? No one wants to come out.
Larry's getting it. Yeah, well, I would be the same, dude.
Man, it was like, I hope you rot in hell. I never liked you, the other friend said. And I was like, I know you never liked me. Like, calling her out. That was the one little quip of me calling her out. Like, I had already written her off.
Yeah.
I was already hit to her bullshit.
Yeah.
But I'm even in that situation, I knew that there was a lot of hurt coming from this person because I literally saw her hand shaking.
Yeah.
I know that
her friend probably made her do it as like a statement or something.
Even still, none of that matters. What matters to me was I could clearly see that somebody was so hurt and so angry at me that like physically she was shaking. I will never forget this imagery.
It was
she was at my door,
yeah.
And as she was trying to explain, I saw her hand like going like this,
yeah,
and like that really fucked me up.
Yeah, that
like,
hurts.
Like I was looking at this person. Obviously, the 3.5 years of history aren't there. It's just the romance part isn't there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that this person wasn't somebody that I had valued in my life.
Yeah, you didn't care about.
And like seeing her hand shake like that,
it really hurts your feelings.
It really. So I'm still sitting there just taking an ass whooping and like.
Oh, that fucking friend, dude.
But the friend was like helping her friend. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, but I feel like in situations like that, again, we were talking about in our last podcast how people use it as ammunition for their own agenda. It was more so for her own whatever sick ways of just trying to. I don't know this.
That. No, I said that.
Okay, all right.
And I got in trouble for saying that.
Let me keep saying it for you, right? Because I feel like people that are so gun-ho about that type of stuff for a friend is their own insecurities or their own issues that they're trying to tag with it, right? Yeah. And that's my initial feeling when something like that or someone like that just, instead of trying to fix the problem, is making it way worse and disguising it as I'm helping a friend out, but really just in their own sick way entertaining the whole fiasco. Am I correct in this assessment? Do you get that?
I will agree because even in a message I was like, look, I know my ex very well.
Yeah.
I was like, I even already had told her that like we were splitting,
and
we've had communication since then, i.e. me bringing her the bag, coordinating where the backdrop was going to be, and then also her wanting to talk on Saturday. And so I'm like, yeah, we're going to have our opportunity to talk. Like we had never had any sort of heated explosiveness whatsoever at all.
Yeah.
The dinner happens, but then all of a sudden this girl is pumped, raged World War III.
Yeah.
So already in my mind, I know that like her whole network was just like pumping her up. Regardless.
That's how they work.
That's how it happens. I get it regardless. But like, I'm telling you, when I saw that girl at my door shaking, like out of anger. Like I still remember her hand was kind of like this. Right. She had let go of the boxes. So anyway, I'm trying to like just be like, look, I just want to get out of this situation now, because like clearly I'm not going to get to say to you what I would have said to you. Like we've already been broken up. I've already moved on. I'm already finding my happiness. I want the same for you. I'm not going to get to say any of this shit, because every time I had 2 words,
her friend jumps in.
You fucking dumbass, and she's on 3-way right now. Like we're calling her so she can hear all of this. And so I'm like, I mean, okay, great, but like, I'm not even getting a chance to say anything. I know you guys have orchestrated and said whatever to each other.
Why are they so
drama? Oh my God, these. Whoa.
So
we're gonna get him.
It was an.
We're gonna get him.
It was an assassination attempt, and they had already all decided that like
this was the best way to get at you.
Well, that like just based
like
on Jenny's perspective,
yeah.
right, and however she would have reacted to the facts of the events or how things broke down, she's gonna have her feelings, which I know I've definitely known her to never, like, if I did something wrong, for example, you threw a chair at me versus you tried to throw a chair down the hallway and it hit me. I'd never get that. I never get that. I never have gotten that ever. I've never gotten the like tell it like it is when it's like I've done something wrong. So I already knew that, like, he said he went to get a lift, which is true. This is a person who's like a total stranger at the time. I went to get a lift to get my car, and yes, I went back to the airport so that I could pick up Jenny and go home. None of the relationship building stuff had happened between me and this individual at that time. I was still in a relationship with Jenny, and I was avoiding trying to set anything up with this new person. That's facts. 100% facts. It was a nice moment, and I was so thankful for it, and like I melted like butter. I even told that. But at that time, I was not trying to produce or create anything. So obviously, I didn't say like, oh, to this person who's a random ass stranger. I just got off the plane. I said goodbye. I didn't ask for any contact information. I went and got my car. I went and picked up the girl. She's mad because I didn't say like, oh, I went and got my car to then go pick up my ex-girlfriend or whatever. We hadn't solidified anything between us until like well beyond, right?
You don't owe that explanation.
It's fine. It's okay, because that's not the important fact. The important fact is there was a character assassination. I just let it happen because I realized I wasn't going to get a chance to talk civilly, so I just let them say whatever. She got her stuff. I just tried to be peaceful. I'm like, here, go in. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you.
I would have closed
your
the door.
friend. You can go in there too. Get whatever you need. I'm not interested in the drama. I just want people to be happy.
So they went over to pick up stuff?
They dropped off my stuff, and she wanted her stuff, which is like a cup. Well, it's a really nice cup. It's a Yeti. She had a Yeti cup in my house.
Dude, your patience is unbearable, dude. Like, if they dropped that stuff, and as soon as I hear that siren go off on the side, dude, I would have been like, straight up, well, I'll send you your stuff later, thank you, and close the door. And start like, hey, do you live in this building?
Sure. The thing for me is like, you don't make it to 3.5, even if you leave. I don't date people who I don't think are good people. I don't date people who I don't think are quality. And I definitely know that she didn't deserve further treatment to hurt her.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
But that's a situation where if it was just you and her, you would have been able to work something out. But the friend was there to put on a show. Like, it was a clear case of, we're on a 3-way right now. We have the other. It's like, come on. What do you think this is? Like Jerry?
It's fine. It's fine.
Springer?
I boiled it back down to, well, like, I could have also just been like, the day that I came off that airplane, like, I knew enough about where I was in that relationship to even have had that moment, even where I could have then just been like, we could end it right now. You know what I mean?
I mean, so
this is all fallout because I did not stand on my feet, hold my shoulders back, and be like, I think that you're a very important person who needs to be with somebody else to be happy.
Right.
And more importantly as well, I think I need to be with someone else to be happy. You know what I mean? Like, I've even had a moment where, like, I could tell that somehow, some way, regardless if it's that person or not, because I'm pretty sure at this point it's not. Like, they're super pissed, long gone. Like, don't call me, don't do nothing.
Right.
There is someone out there for me. I will find that person. And I think there is someone out there for her, and she will find that person.
Right.
But it was evident, and that's the part that I'm dealing with, was like, I should have stood on the evidence, and I could have saved so many people's feelings, so many people's embarrassments, and Lord knows what I have waiting for me on someone's Facebook page or Instagram page, just waiting to just see like how I've been drugged through the streets this week, which is fine. Like that shit happens in breakups. But just to total it all out, like I went back to the girl and I was like, yo, it's not right, man, that like, you know, there's all this coordination happening behind the scenes, but like, I don't blame you. I know that you're new into this situation and this feels like ammunition that you can trust. But like, it's fine, whatever. Like I tried to like at least tell her my feelings again. Yeah. And then I tried to refute everything that I possibly could. Like you said that I told you that I took a lift. Well, here's a picture of the lift that I went home to get.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the timeline, where do I fuck up? You're attacked. So somehow my religion was attacked. The girl said to me, you used my faith to get closer to me. And I was like, where, how, who, what? So I already knew that like they attacked me and my religion to try to further divide. And I'm like, man, I was like, I have a fucking, like I have my cross chain. Like I started wearing it again. I took it off for jujitsu because they kept telling me like, oh, take your chains off.
Yeah.
My chains were in my jujitsu bag. So I put them on today. But basically I'm Christian. Like I love people. I pray all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like anybody who knows me knows this. But anyway, I knew that my religion was attacked. And it's like, if you break up with somebody or if you hurt someone's feelings, if you are Christian or if you pray to God, like why is it that like if they feel like you sinned or they feel like you're terrible, then you're fake religious. Mm-hmm. Because the girl was like, I would never be with someone who would try to use my religion and I was like, no. Your faith and being so similar was like what drew me in closer. Like I had to tell her that. But anyway, so I like refuted all this stuff, but it was too late. She was like,
too late. She got tampered with.
Like, I already told you not to talk to me anymore. So I was like, I sent her like one last message where I told Jenny like my whole, like I spilled everything I possibly could to Jenny. And I sent that to her like, look, see, I said everything. She responded to it. I'm never going to talk to you again. Don't worry. Here, this is just my last piece. But then I get a last message like, oh, I finally read all that stuff she was like, I finally read that whole message. So she had just replied just to be like, it doesn't have to go any further. It is what it is. You know, take care. Time heals was the first message I got. But I'm assuming she sent that without actually even reading what I wrote. Right. Because then like some time had passed, and then she was like, "You're such a fucking liar. You lie to yourself. You won't just admit that you're a cheater and that you did this and you did that, and that I don't even care. I'm happy that I don't have to worry about who you're going to run to when we have a fight. I'm happy that I don't have to worry about who you're talking to on Instagram. I'm going to be so happy." And I'm like all of these strong, powerful words coming from somebody in a position who was very vulnerable to someone who decided they didn't want to be with them anymore. Like I have to absorb that shit.
Yeah.
And so like I just was like, look, regardless, like I told her one last message, like, you don't understand. Like all of this stuff is facts. Yeah. Everything that I'm saying is facts.
Yeah.
We have different perspectives.
Yeah.
So I broke it all down. But I never tried to slide away from the one true fact that I know fucked everything up for her from her perspective was I was still with her while I was talking to somebody that had intrigued me. Mm-hmm. I had never seen, kissed, touched, hugged, held, none of that stuff. Yeah. But my mind, man.
Yeah, you're ready.
My mind was with somebody else.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge and I own that. Yeah. Right? Like that fucked things up. And so anyway, so obviously all that's done there. I sent everything I could, and I even like went back to reread all the messages just to make sure that I was right on the timeline. And I found out that like it had only been like 2 full days, almost 3 days before I had talked to this girl. Mm-hmm. So whatever happened between the airport and 3 days, any of them either being mad about what I did, to me was like, well, that's no man's land because I wasn't trying to pursue in that period of time. Yeah. And everything that I did do or try to do with Jenny was still valid because I literally had an option. I was asked, where can I go get a drink? As in like, let's do something. Yeah. I turned all that down. And that 3-day period was like fucking turmoil for me. Yeah. But I still was on the Jenny side at the time. Anyway, to sum this all up, it's all fucked. Yeah. She's gone. Jenny's gone. I hope they're both obviously living well and doing life. And it's not because this is public. This is just truth. And I'm actually appreciating that we've gone long so that I can share all this. Yeah. Because it's helping me to try to be better and to do better and to like at least reflect. And I don't want to cause this kind of hurt in anybody. Mm-hmm. Like especially me and how I feel about people's feelings, man. Right. And I felt selfish to be happy because I knew that someone else was not going to be. And while they weren't going to be, I was. Mm-hmm. I knew that was going to hurt. But I didn't want to just be like in a purgatory relationship, especially once I knew it had gotten to the point where I had to do something. Right. And so I mean, whatever I end up being because of all this, like I've said my piece and it's out there. The only reason why I wanted to do this for the show is because I know full and well that I could be happy right now.
Yeah.
If I had done any couple of things differently.
Yeah.
Right. I could have said, don't post that.
Right.
I could have like gone with my gut the first time we had the talk, like in person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told this woman, I don't want to be with you anymore. Mm-hmm. There's so many things I could have done differently.
Well, this is what my advice is to you,
Sure,
right?
sure.
As a friend, as a pseudo therapist for this session.
Yeah, that counts.
I think your happiness should be at baseline by yourself.
Yeah.
So that whatever you add or whoever you invite into your life only should increase that. As soon as it takes a dip into who you are as a person is when you're sacrificing, right? Clearly, the definition of sacrificing is happening. And I also feel that it is wrong for me to say to never compromise, because that is not true. In a relationship, you're constantly compromising, because that helps build up your character. That helps build you up into a better person, right? You're looking at ways, especially your flaws. And I think that's where the 2-3 year relationship, or when a relationship gets really hard, is when your flaws is fully exposed, right? And then you have to face it. Yeah. And that's the hardest part, facing your own flaws. Not being with the other person. It's just facing your flaws. And although maybe this girl was special, but it could be a situational thing. Again, it's like, hey, it was at a place that you felt at a low, and you were getting the attention that you felt like you deserved but weren't getting, right, in your current concept.
Sure, I hear people say that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it, I don't want you to go forward thinking that I could have been happy. You're fine right now. I think for the first time in a long time, I've known Larry that he's officially single. Through his own doing or indiscretion or whatever, right? And that is a time to celebrate, right? That is a time to like focus on other things, bro.
Man, I can't tell you, like, I've lost 10 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
I've been in the gym. I've been like hitting it.
Bro.
I got my 24-hour membership. So thanks to
there
Mike.
We go.
So Mike, for the video, like, no, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
saying. That's what I'm
actually,
saying. Because seriously, I've known this guy right here on my left for 15 years, right?
Yeah.
Almost. I can't remember the last time you were single. Like, legitimately.
That doesn't help right now.
No. What I'm saying is, you're a desirable man, right? I can say that in a hetero, confident way.
That's cool.
But as a friend too, I also realized, because I haven't been single for a long time. Obviously, I've been married, but I was away in San Francisco for 1.5 years, and then in a lot of respect, that's horrifying to be away from family, away from your wife for a long time. But it is a time frame that I will always cherish, because it made me be very introspective about where I am in life, what moves I have to make, and what my focus should be. To make sure that something like that won't be happening outside of my control. Although it was my decision ultimately, I'm more in control of it now than I ever was before. And it was a choice that you helped me through to realize, like, it was a necessary thing to do to cut our time from being apart in a smaller chunk. And the progress I made within that 1.5 years of just, I'm not saying I hate being with my family, but there are certain things and aspects of your life you have to improve by yourself, that you have to build that foundation to hold up everything else. And that comes with relationship. To bring on someone else is a responsibility. And if you're both standing on broken grounds, you never gave it a chance. You never gave it a fair chance. Yeah. So retrospectively, things could have been done differently, but I don't think you should regret where it has taken you now. Like, now you're actually having all these decisions that you can make. And I would even propose to, dude, please make it a 6-month sabbatical. Make it a goal.
I'm not looking.
Yeah. Just be single for a little while.
The thing was, like, I would say this. Another 6 months with my ex probably would have came and went if I never. I'm not blaming this person. Yeah. That's not what I'm doing.
No.
Saying, like, that moment, man.
Yeah.
It was just different. I just never had that.
Yeah.
And it led to a lot of decisions that, like, that identified that my heart wasn't where I was.
Yes. I mean, you were in a safe-ish relationship.
Sure.
Right?
It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was just okay.
And part of that, when
We were
people
okay.
stay, is to be in that relationship because you feel like everyone's doing this, right? So you feel forced. And it's like, this is what people do. But also, by being out of it, hopefully you're seeing from a different perspective, a new set of eyes of, and then, meeting the girl at that time is a part of that. It's like, oh, I forgot what it's supposed to be like, why it shouldn't be so hard, right? And I think you're going to get a lot of that going forward, being a single man for a little time, right?
I don't care how much time, really, at this point, because where I feel right now is like I'm at least excited to do things that I wanted to do myself that I don't have to answer to somebody for.
Yeah.
I don't have to, and I mean in regards of like going on car drives or doing photography event. Well, actually, got to save up for another camera. But you know what I mean? Like there's me time. There's unrelenting amounts of me time.
When was the last of me time happening?
I haven't had that in a long time. And
like years, right?
To your credit of saying you've never seen me single, it's mainly because it's not that I'm with like 90 people.
No.
It's that I'll be with one person for like 4 years, or one person with 5 years. And
you've been in a long relationship with.
Well, because I find someone
women.
Quality that I like, and it
like
goes
a good
the distance.
decade now, to be honest.
Then for whatever reason, usually it's like, I guess I was the one that always broke up.
Yeah, but also it's always like,
except for one,
right,
where I got like heinously dumped, and I mean I deserved it, man.
Yeah. But I would also say that there needs to be a time to recoup, reevaluate, right? Yeah. If you keep jumping from ship to ship, right, you're never going to have that time to think about what I can do differently to fix the next time around and what I should value, and listen to the signs, right, and signals saying that this ain't working. I think that's the misconception, even for myself, being in a marriage for so long. It's like the idea to endure and compromise is the main key, right? It isn't, because as soon as you sign up for that type of religion, you're going to find yourself undervaluing what a relationship can be and what the potential can be, right? Because right now you're just showing up for work.
Yeah.
What we've been preaching about, you're just showing up, and like just anything that you give a lot of time to, if you're just showing up because you're supposed to, that never lasts. When is real commitment is when you actually want to put in the work and you value the output, right? So relationship's just about the same. This is where I'm trying to figure out myself. I don't have it all figured out. I'm constantly fighting and compromising. So, but it's a lot of it is because I value my partner, and she knows my tics and stuff, and she knows when exactly to give me space when I do need space. And it's not everything can be fixed together, right? It's just some things. Hey, I'm an individual, and myself, and you're an individual. They're just things that I have to figure out on my own before we can talk as a couple. Right? And that's very valuable, because not a lot of people, they all think like, oh, let me shoulder your problem. It's like, nah, let me figure myself out a bit, and then I can talk to you. And it shouldn't be offensive.
Great. I think that'd be great. I'm happy to be alive, because again, I had a big hospital scare. So every day I'm happy to be alive. I have struggles. Like I had depression stuff. Like there's a lot.
Yeah.
But I do think that like the next few months or years or whatever ends up being the walk for me.
Yeah.
I look forward to being able to move more on my emotions. Definitely have all the ammunition I need to stand on. Like, Larry, just fucking say what you feel.
Yeah.
Because remember what happened. You know what I mean? Like, I have this.
Yeah.
You know, and I still think life is going to be good.
Yeah.
I still think life is going to be good.
Life is fine. We're exactly. You know what, Larry? Situation. This is what I'll tell you. No matter what happens yesterday, tomorrow, or the day after, we'll still be here at this desk, and life moves on, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good message to all you guys. We're here.
Yes. So laugh or ooh or whatever you have to say, but I wanted to come today with a positive message. Know your feelings. Know what's important.
Yeah.
Fucking fight for it. Be honest. Even if it hurts. Even if it's going to cost you, like, the truth. You know what I mean? Like, just tell people how you feel.
Yeah.
Don't suffer because you're holding that back.
Yeah, you're holding that back, yeah.
It just made everything worse.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Well, that concludes today's episode. It got real because that's what we're about.
Yeah.
All right. So see you guys every Monday and Wednesday for Invisible Walls at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And thank you guys for tuning in.
See you guys. Good luck out there.